The presidency on Monday blamed former President Olusegun Obasanjo for the current state of Nigeria's democracy. The special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, noted that the democracy the country currently practices dates back to direct imputes by Obasanjo when he led the country first as military head of state from 1976 to 1979 and as civilian president from 1999 to 2007. Onanuga said Obasanjo ought to know that he brought this thing into Nigeria as a person who made the country adopt it in 1979, adding that Obasanjo must have seen it as expensive and unsuitable when he governed for 8 years and even wanted an extension for another 4 years. The presidency's response followed comments made by Obasanjo at a high-level consultation on rethinking Western liberal democracy in Africa held at Green Resorts Legacy, Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library, Abeokuta. Obasanjo had criticized Western democracy, suggesting it had not delivered good governance and development in Africa. He called for a re-examination and moderation of democracy to better suit African nations, citing the Western model's disregard for African history and complexities. Vice President Kashim Shettima on Monday approved the constitution of a multi-sectoral committee to drive the federal government's human capital development program. The multi-sectoral team consists of federal and state governments, donors and partners who are expected to convene every 2 weeks to review the progress of work in addressing the objectives of the HCD program. A statement signed by Shettima's Senior Special Assistant on Media and Communications, Stanley Nkwocha, which shed light on this on Monday, is titled Human Capital Development, Federal Government Moves to Address Nigeria's Global Performance Lag. This followed the VP's meeting with World Bank's Country Director for Nigeria, Shubham Chaudhuri, the chairman of the Dangote Foundation, Aliko Dangote, the founder of the Tony Elumelu Foundation, Mr. Tony Elumelu, the coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pati, among others, at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The HCD program focuses on 3 thematic areas: health and nutrition, labor force participation and education, and 6 essential human capital development areas, including under 5 mortality rate, malnutrition, adult mortality, expected years of school, quality of learning, and labor force participation rate. At the meeting, Shettima stressed the need for government and partners to invest in human capital development to create a workforce that is globally competitive and adaptable to the modern demands of the 21st century. On their parts, Aliko Dangote, Tony Elumelu, and Mr. Chaudhuri commended the foresight of Vice President Shettima in convening the meeting, noting that it underpins the commitment of the Tinubu administration to addressing challenges around human capital development. And stakeholders have urged philanthropists to contribute funds towards the elimination of neglected tropical diseases to meet the 2030 target in Nigeria. The call was made at an NTD's roundtable meeting in Abuja to mark Sight Saver's 70th anniversary in the country. Speaking, the Director of Public Health, Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Chukwuma Anyeke, said more funds would help in eliminating NTDs, improve health status, and prevent mortality and morbidity in the country. The NTD's national coordinator at the ministry, Dr. Fatai Oyedino, also noted that strategies were already in place to mobilize funding from local resources to eliminate NTDs in the country. Oyedino therefore called on philanthropists like Aliko Dangote, Femi Otedola, Emeka Ofo, Tiwa Danjuma, and others to support the government in eliminating the diseases in the country. Sight Saver's country representative Sunday Isiaku said the organization has made remarkable progress towards NTD's elimination, improving eye health and boosting disability rights in the country. The management of the College of Medicine at Nigeria's premier university teaching hospital, Ibadan, the University College Hospital, says it sustained the efforts at providing accommodation to its students in the clinical, medical, and dental department has received a major boost. This is because former Nigerian Defense Minister Lieutenant General Theophilus Yakubu Danjuma has donated over $1.3 million for the provision of convenient accommodation for students of the institution. Provost of the institution, Professor Olayinka Onugbedu, made this development known to reporters in Ibadan, where he also expressed appreciation to the former defense chief. In her remark, a former Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics, University of Ibadan, Professor Gbemi Oke, maintained that it is necessary for all well-meaning Nigerians to assist government at all levels towards strengthening the nation's education sector, as T.Y. Danjuma Foundation has set an historic landmark in the nation's education fund aid.
On behalf of the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan, and the Ibadan College of Medicine Alumni Association worldwide, we are pleased to issue this joint press release regarding the sword turning ceremony for the T.Y. Danjuma hostel block. So it was a work of grace, a work of faith. And when we first started off, before the depreciation of the Naira, it was estimated that the buildings, because we plan to build 6 hostel blocks, A, B, C, D, E, F. And it's supposed to accommodate over 600 students. Over 600 students. Because when we looked at our shortfall of hostel spaces, we discovered that only about half the students, the clinical students, had accommodation on the site within UCH. Many of them had to live in Yemen too, and we had cases of some students were attacked at night, some students had their things stolen, and many of them will not be able to attend to emergencies and the experiences of being a clinical student.
On behalf of those that would use the hostel, we're really very grateful, and we pray that the Lord continue to enlarge their cause. Having said that, we want to thank you in advance that you will make this go far and wide.
Now let's take it to the National Assembly. The lower chamber, the House of Representatives Committee on Persons with Disabilities, has promised to fully implement the PWD Act to give those covered by the law a sense of belonging. Chairman of the committee and member of the All Progressives Congress from Lagos State, Bashiru Dawodu, pledged this on Monday at a meeting with children living with disabilities. Speaking on the theme, Every Child, Every Right, the lawmaker said the laws are underway to sanction discrimination against persons with disabilities across the country. Dawodu also noted that the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has approved the use of sign language in the chambers for effective communications with persons with disabilities who want to be kept abreast of happenings in the Green Chamber. Earlier, the Persons with Disabilities community in Abuja urged the National Assembly to amend relevant laws to protect children with disabilities nationwide.